obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. Ugh, it's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
It's the WHOW Morning Show. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, courtesy of Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio in this segment, Curt Homann, the DeWitt County Development Council Executive Director. Curt, I feel like I've gotten to talk to you more this summer than Seth has. How you been doing?
I think so. I've been doing good, man. It's good to see you again.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, what's been keeping you busy before we were getting started here? You just said there's been a lot. You've been working real hard recently.
Yeah. Not that my life revolves around 30-day cycles, but I can tell you it's been an incredibly busy 30 days. So
yeah,
we do have a lot of exciting things. I'm just going to jump right in here.
Definitely.
So, kind of the discussion has been housing.
Yeah,
certainly. And the extreme need for housing, actually in Clinton, but all over DeWitt County for sure.
Yeah.
So one of the things we've organized is to have the Illinois Housing Development Authority do a countywide housing study for us.
Yeah.
And that, of course, is going to highlight Clinton, Farmer City, but then also the surrounding areas in the county as well. So it's going to identify housing stock, potential areas of growth, needs. We know we need housing. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
But this study we'll be able to do with this is, there are some competitive grants. So we will have a document, roughly a 200-page document that we'll be able to say, hey, we've had these done, we've had this study done, and we feel that the state would be good about giving us a grant to help get some of the resources to actually fulfill some of those needs.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something that's going to be happening very, very soon. So it's a study and revitalization plan.
Okay.
So that's the key access with that.
Yeah. So there's already been a little bit of housing development in Clinton. There's a new subdivision that's been getting built. So, there's already been some steps taken, but not that you speak on behalf of the county or the city, but where are we going now? What's the new direction after this study is done?
Well, so first of all, we can't, the study will take about a year, and we certainly can't wait a year before we start progressing forward. So we're already going to be taking those steps. But I can tell you a year from now, we'll also need, we're also going to need housing.
Yeah. Right.
A quick number would be if we had 100 new housing units, and those could be apartments, those could be single family structures, duplexes, fourplexes, whatever, they would be filled. I mean, I can tell you we have that immediate need for housing. So we're going to work on housing in any way possible that we can in the interim. But I can tell you a year from now, we're still going to have those needs for housing growth. And that's a great problem to have. I mean, Clinton and the county has so much going for it, for sure right now. And there's a lot of momentum. We just need to get as many of those folks to live here as possible. So, but the answer is we'll have a document essentially that says, here's some suggestions, here's some areas. And again, we can use that document to essentially get some state and federal funding, we hope.
Yeah. And that kind of coincides with, the new jobs that are going to be coming to the area, with Quick Wall and with Constellation and their new deal with Meta, there's going to be a lot of people that are hopefully going to be coming to the area.
There are. So, and again, I know we've, Quick Wall, 300 plus jobs, the Constellation Meta deal, those are temporary, but those still people will need place to live even in the short term.
Yeah.
And again, I know it's been alluded to, a different organization is going to be announcing, and we think that's coming this week or early next week.
Great.
And that's another 250 jobs. So, you look at, our influx of jobs over the next few months is going to be 600, 700, 800 new jobs in this Clinton area.
Yeah.
And we don't have a place for those folks to live. So we want them all to live here if we can.
Yeah.
But right now we don't have the spot for that. And again, 10% of your population in new jobs is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, for anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. And you'd use the word revitalization, and that goes along with another thing that we had mentioned before we got on, and that's the downtown Clinton revitalization plan. And a lot of what I've been seeing, from the county and from the city is, trying to make it better and trying to grow it and make it as accessible as possible for new companies and new families to come into the area. And I feel like this just is another part of that.
This fits in. So so one of the things we've been tasked with is a downtown revitalization project.
Yeah.
So we're clearly in the very early stages of that.
Mm-hmm.
But beginning very, very shortly, we're gonna begin to talk to stakeholders about what does that look like, what programs can we make available,
Mm-hmm.
and how what's the benefit to the downtown businesses for sure. So we want to revitalize every area that we can,
Yeah.
but the downtown is always a great focus for any community, and
Mhm.
it's an important aspect of a community. So we want to make that area as attractive as possible, and we need to have programs in place to do that. So we're actually in the very grassroots stage of developing a unique loan program. We're in the grassroots stages of some additional grant program for incentives for downtown business owners
Mhm.
to revitalize their buildings. So we don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet. Just know that we are on it.
Yeah.
And that again will be a combined effort, of course, with here in Clinton, of course, with the city of Clinton, Helen and Tony and the elected officials, as well as every business owner, the chamber, every organization that wants to get involved in that project. We want to hear from them. We want them on board for sure.
Yeah. What do those partnerships look like, with the city officials and things like that?
Well, so ultimately, the city, as an example, has a downtown facade program in place already.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to beef up other incentives, we might want to look at them increasing that program for a year or two in terms of the dollars they commit to that. But we need to have buy-in from everybody.
Yeah.
But most importantly, we need to have buy-in from the people that own those buildings.
Yeah.
And we need to make it a good incentivized plan for them to actually to get the work done.
Yeah.
So many times communities will say, well, hey, we want you to do this, we want you to do this, but it's really hard for a business owner, just because the community wants it done, financially maybe it doesn't make sense.
Right.
So we have to put all of those pieces together and find out what it's going to take to make that happen for sure.
Yeah.
And a stronger downtown community is again, it's great for the community as a whole. Downtowns bring tourists, downtowns bring shopping. It's a great place to go. I mean, I like to park my car and just walk business to business. It's a fun day, especially on great weather days like this. So.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else on either those, the downtown Clinton revitalization plan or that housing study and revitalization plan?
Well, Clinton is really at the hub of. We have a lot of what we have on our side is a lot of momentum right now.
Yeah.
And we're really shaping, especially with housing. Housing developments, we're really planning, what happens today shapes the community 5 and 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. I mentioned the need for 100 additional homes that would be filled. What does that do to the community's face 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Increased students, increased families, better revenues for our local businesses, not just downtown but everywhere. I mean, we're really shaping and moving things forward for Clinton. So all of this is all of these pieces fit together incredibly well. They're incredibly important, and we're excited to be a part of them for sure.
Great. And I apologize for switching gears a little bit, but before we take a break, I wanted to ask you, a couple of weeks ago, I got to catch up with Mayor Michelossi and Tony Harris, and they spoke to me about a meeting that was held at the Clintonia Eagle to kind of go over their financial status and where they're at. And they had mentioned you were present, and I'm curious what your takeaways from that meeting were.
Yeah. So, as a backstory, I've been working with the Eagle for about a couple of years.
Yeah.
And, it's been a tough road for movie theaters, across the country.
Yeah.
They were very open and honest and upfront with folks. There is a path to success for
Mhm.
sure. They've had obstacles, and they continue to have obstacles. But it was really, they're really wanting to be transparent with the community. They did ask the community for resources if available. And I appreciate them doing that. So many businesses could have just said, "How we're just going to shut the doors." That's not their stance. They want to continue to move forward, and there is a pathway. There certainly is a pathway to success. We just got to clear a couple of hurdles. But in the meantime, go buy popcorn, go see movies, go subscribe to SOAR memberships, do everything that you can. Even if it wasn't on your radar to go see a movie this week, go see a movie this week.
Yeah.
These couple months are a tough time in the movie industry until the Thanksgiving holiday. So anything you can do to spend money there, please do it.
Yeah. What do you think is the benefit to having the theater here in town?
Well, we've got, so a lot of small towns don't have theaters, and now a lot of big towns don't have theaters. But it is just another tool to bring people into the community. We do know that people from Decatur come here to watch movies.
I have. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when they come here to see a movie, chances are they're also going to go get pizza, or they're going to get ice cream, or they're going to get some kind of meal. And they're going to stop and maybe get gas and some other things. So there's a lot of community benefit to the theater. And again, it's just a nice asset to have for a community, that you don't have to drive out of town. And if our folks are driving out of town, then they're eating in a different town, they're getting gas in a different town, they're doing all of those things there. So it's a wonderful asset, and it's one we need to keep here if we can. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that is Curt Homann, the executive director of the DeWitt County Development Council. More to come with him on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Corn. Meal down. And
When it comes to finding primary care, you can be seen at any doctor's office, but at Memorial Care, you're not just seen, you're heard. Our primary care team takes the time to listen to you, building a lasting relationship based on transparency and trust. So when you notice a change in your health, you've got a team that's ready to advocate for what you need. Memorial Care, real connections. Learn more at memorial.health/primary care.
The Illinois Emergency Management Agency has designated WHOW's many platforms on AM and FM, as well as WEZC 95.9 FM, as standby radio stations for emergency messages to be sent for severe weather, as well as for the Clinton Power Station. We also have a direct link to the National Weather Service for watches or warnings to air immediately when they're issued. Keep yourself and your family safe by tuning into the WHOW platforms on AM, FM, or streamed online, as well as on WEZC 95.9 FM.
It's the WHOW Morning Show. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. We continue with my guest in studio, Curt Homann, who is the executive director of the DeWitt County Development Council. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, courtesy of Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Curt Homann, the executive director of the DeWitt County Development Council. And, we've had a project on the radar for quite a while now, and that is data tracking and using that to, figure out how you can better benefit your businesses and who's coming and going. Let's talk a little bit about that data tracking program, Curt.
Yep, absolutely. So, it's something we've been looking at for some time, and essentially we would have access to cell phone or your data tracking through cell phones.
Yeah.
And that's movement, people movement or cell phone movements.
Mhm.
And so it's not individual information, just FYI. People get worried about that. But I can track a group of people. So, for example, we talked about downtown revitalization. I can find out the number of people that are coming to our downtown, the zip codes that they're coming from, or the areas that they're coming from. Where they're stopping at, how much time they're spending there, and we can use that data to maybe apply for grants. Gives us great resources to and tools to show where good marketing steps would be.
Yeah.
So if there's a marketing arm, a group of businesses get together and say, hey, we want to market downtown or whatever it is, that has some real data to be able to back that up. And there's just a whole host of information. So the really good news about this is a very expensive program, a lot of incredible information that we can get out of that, very useful information that we can get out of that. But again, it's expensive. So as a single subscription, an annual subscription is about $20,000 per year. We can get a break, if we do a multi-year contract. We do have a grant for a local grant for all but 5,000 of that. So we really need, our budget is such that we have a very minimal budget, and our budget expenses all go into programs essentially, and we really do need to find 5,000 more dollars. So if there's a business listening, or a host of businesses that would like to commit to $1,000 a year, $2,500 a year, I'd certainly love to talk about that. So but we feel we can have that in place. We're optimistic that we can have that in place in the next 30 days and really start to utilize that with our downtown revitalization program. The one thing that always gets mentioned to me is the lake. If we can get more data on where some of the folks are coming from the lake, and we can market our town businesses, Clinton, Farmer City, other areas, to those folks, we can maybe get them to come in to the community and spend a little bit more money in these communities as well. So that's certainly one aspect we could use right away. Yeah.
So what would the use of that information look like in practice? Are you guys getting this data and then you're going to a specific business and saying, hey, maybe you guys should do this and do that, or what does that look like?
Well, I think we would gear it towards a sector or a segment of the business community.
Yeah.
And certainly we would, so for example, we can share that with our downtown businesses, or our community of Clinton business, or community of Farmer City business, and say, okay, we know that the lake traffic looks like this. So in their own specific marketing plans, they know now where to market maybe a little bit better. We can also use it towards, grants. I would have exact street counts. So many times when we apply for a grant, they want to know the number of the people that drive by. So we would have that. We would have that information. So it could be a very good resource, certainly for grants. Someone wants to open up a franchise, for example. And maybe the town doesn't normally qualify. We might be able to provide enough data in there that allows that company to okay a franchise in Clinton or Farmer City or in DeWitt County. So there's a lot of potential aspects to that. And as we develop these programs, we can also track success based on the number of people that are coming into certain areas. And that's a positive too.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else on that data tracking program you wanted to highlight for us, Curt?
That's it. We're really close. And again, I want to do the public appeal that there's a great use for that. And if your business has a little bit of dollars that they could expend, definitely reach out to me.
Yeah, definitely. Last topic I had that I wanted to jump into with you was, Constellation and Meta at the Clinton Clean Energy Center just last week had a big press conference to celebrate the deal that those two companies had made that's going to keep the plant open for another 20 years. So I'm curious, could you give us a little backstory on that just to start out, some context on how that deal happened?
Yeah, so I will tell you, Constellation and Meta are not companies that reach out to the local economic development guy and say, hey, we need some help, or we need your opinion on that. That being said, energy deals throughout the country are taking place. So it's absolutely not surprising that happened here.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's taking place for data centers. So there's a a contract in place. There's a stated amount of energy that this is going to provide directly to Meta, excuse me. And many times that could be for, data center usage, which is a high usage, electric usage business, I guess. So, we're it's a good thing locally because it keeps the power plant, it keeps the power plant in force. It may allow them to have a second reactor. That seems like, the steps are happening to have that take place. That's still several years down the road if indeed that happens. But it certainly was, it was a good announcement. Glad to be a part of it, and glad to have both of those entities, certainly Constellation and Meta involved now in DeWitt County for sure. So, but it just highlights another one of great things that are happening locally.
Yeah.
So.
And I have to apologize for this question, as I'm not a lifelong Clintonian, but I had heard about, some troubles that had happened back in 2016 at the power plant. And I'm wondering if you could tell me a little bit about that and then how things are different now.
Yeah, so actually, and DCDC was involved in organizing some bus trips to Springfield to help keep the power plant open.
Gotcha.
Interestingly, and that wasn't me, but the organization was certainly involved. And but there was concern that the power plant would not be able to operate, and the state of Illinois stepped in and said, yeah, it's important, and kind of made that happen. So, but now with this agreement in place, there's no question that the power plant will be operational for at least the next 20 years, and likely well into the future, beyond that. And it's such a tremendous economic boost to the area, and it's such an important economic boost to the area that we would be in a very difficult situation if that plant did not exist, for sure, or shut down.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so, I know I got to see you in person there, sitting out in the crowd, and we heard from a lot of different speakers at that event, from Helen Michalasi to, different state representatives, representatives from Constellation. And I'm curious what your takeaway is just from the event in general.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun event to attend.
Definitely,
certainly, and
high energy.
I absolutely learned a lot. I learned a lot more, about the deal as well. And it was a great way to highlight, the impact of the power plant and what that means moving forward. But it was a good event. There's a lot of media coverage was there, and a lot of folks attended that. And it's exciting when you can have those things happening in your backyard.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely glad to be a part of it.
What's your reaction to the $100,000 to the Clinton Y over the next 5 years?
I think it's great. Yeah, absolutely. It's they've always been a good provider, and they're one of our funders as well. They they help fund DCDC, and we're very thankful for them. And they that's one of the ways they make an impact. That's one of the ways they make an impact locally, and we're glad, again, we're glad they're there. But I think the Y in particular, great program, great project, and good use of their resources for sure.
Yeah. Curt, where's the best place for everyone to find out about the DCDC?
Please reach out. Call is a good way. Follow us on Facebook. My number, 217-935-5271. Reach out anytime. Follow us on Facebook, and we'll sit down and talk.
That's DCDC Executive Director Curt Homann on the WHOW Morning Show.
The Big 1520, WHOW Clinton, along with 92.3 FM Clinton.